A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome back, one and all, to Turn 200's coverage of the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. After our 22nd round at IRP a couple of weeks ago, it's time to go backwards to round 21 at the Tricky Triangle here at Pocono Raceway. For those of you that recall, the big DDoS attack happened on a Thursday night and robbed us of the opportunity to race in the scheduled slot for this race here tonight, round 21. So why not push it back nearly a month and do it tonight since NASCAR is off? We had the All-Star race last week. It was a smashing success, and a big field of drivers here tonight to tackle the Tricky Triangle. 26 in all are going to give it a shot here for round 21 of the season. It's Tommy Cook hanging out with you, and as always, I got my partner, Mr. Matt Williamson, alongside. Matt, Pocono, it is a track that you and I have very much agreed we'd much rather be broadcasting than racing, and we'll leave it to the pros here because these guys do an awfully good job week in and week out.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, Pocono has always been a fun track for us to watch, but I am terrible at it. Actually, in the trucks, I'm a lot better than I was in the next gens a couple weeks ago when we ran it. But it's always a great show, no matter if it's trucks, if it's Daredevil, whatever it is. The drivers always put on a great show for us here. So looking forward to this one.
Going to be a quick race here tonight. Everybody knock on wood that the yellow laundry stays put away as much as possible tonight, but only 50 laps. Hello to everybody that's hanging out with us already. Greg Mall, of course, on track as well as in chats. George Hendricks, likewise. And Jacob Gibson not going to join us here tonight. He's not one of the 26 drivers. But we've got, I think, 9 of the top 10 drivers in points with us here tonight. Matt, who are those 10 drivers, and how did IRP shake up the point standings?
Yep, here is a look at the point standings. Justin Michael was not at IRP, so he's lost quite a bit of ground there to Andrew Schulte. Schulte now just 20 points behind. Heath Smith not far behind either there. Only 6 points behind Schulte, so the three of them close, of course. Remember, Schulte has said he is not going to be running the playoffs, so that's going to open up a spot for somebody here, so keep that in mind. But would still like to get that regular season championship. Unfortunately, he is not here today, so he's going to give those points right back. Scott Patton sits there in 4th. Johnny Hamby has moved up to 5th here, and Charlie Widener sits in 6th. Rob Haynes was not at IRP either, so Rob has moved down to 7th. Will Kirk, Mike Milfelt, and Greg Mall will round out your top 10.
And indeed, 9 of the top 10 are here. Andrew Schulte has 5 seconds to register. Don't think that's going to happen. So, yes, indeed, he'll give those points right back. But Heath Smith, just want to point out, ahead of IRP, he finished runner-up in that race. He was 71 points behind, so he made up a huge chunk on Justin Michael. So it very much could be a 2-driver race to bring home the regular season title. But Justin Michael, lauded here at Pocono, has won here in Truck 200 before, and guess what? He just won the pole of 54, triple one for Justin Michael. He will lead the field to the green. James Lehman will start on the outside pole. Great qualifying run for him. Mike Milfeld, another great qualifying run for him. He will start at the inside of row number 2 next to Rob Haynes, back in action after missing IRP. It is Greg Mall and Zachary Groover. Love-hate relationship between those two. They start on row number 3. Great qualifying run for driver number 40. It is Will Kirk and Scott Patton, the winner last time out at IRP, starting in 8th. Will Kirk to his inside in 7th. Johnny Hamby in the top 5 in the points now. He starts in 9th next to Heath Smith. Looking to make up more ground on Justin Michael, but he's going to have to start deep in the field to do it. Jack Watts, Charlie Widener on row 6. It's Ty Young back for the first time in many races, starting at 13th next to Matt Sisler, who will start further back than he wants to today in 14th. Matt Burkhart and Kyle Manos, likewise. First time we've seen Kyle here in a while. He will start in spot number 16. Brad Slagle, Chris Sargent on row number 9. And it's George Hendricks and Daniel Reese, your top 20 starters. 21st for Ryan McRoberts, Phil Paradise in 22nd. Row number 12 is Kerry Cleaver and Garrett Potts back for the first time in quite some time as well. Chris Voiles and Michael Van then on the final row here. 26 starters here for 2.5 miles around. 50 laps, the distance here tonight at Pocono Raceway. Matt Williamson, what do we got for strategy? What are these drivers going to be looking out for to keep themselves ahead of the trickster racing gods here at Pocono?
Well, it's the tricky triangle for a reason. Very difficult racetrack here, but only 50 laps. It's a short race, as you have already mentioned. So that stage break is coming up on at the completion of lap 15. I mean, that is a sprint to the stage break. So expect the drivers to really be after it here early on in this race. I mean, they always are, but even more so tonight probably. So there's 50 laps here for the whole race. No fast repairs. 4 extra sets of tires. The pit window for fuel is about 26 to 28 laps. So after they do their stage break, they will have a 1 stopper if it stays green to the end. And we'll take a look at the track conditions here. Fairly warm, 115 degrees on the track temperature. Wind is some heavier gusts, up to 10 miles an hour here. So on some of these long straights, wind can play a big factor here as well. Drivers looking to get after it.
I always forget to look before we do a race at Pocono to remind myself what the 3 tracks are, that the 3 distinct turns here are modeled after. If I remember correctly, turn 1 is Trenton, which does not exist anymore. Turn 2 is Indianapolis, and turn 3 is the Milwaukee Mile.
I do believe that is correct.
Okay. We missed Trenton. Yep. A 5-turn oval with a right-hand turn in the middle of the back straightaway because somebody didn't want to sell their real estate to the track.
You gotta love that.
But it's all been sold now and demolished for decades. But it lives on in turn 1 here at Pocono. A turn 1 which these drivers are about to find themselves barreling into at speeds around 190 miles an hour down the longest straightaway in all of NASCAR. Pace truck will hang a left, and Max V is racing here at Pocono. Finally. Scott Patton looking 3 wide. Everybody else much calmer into the first turn.
Pat utilizing the middle, still 3 wide here.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Greg Mull super loose there.
Kirk got pretty loose underneath Patton as well. That was almost incident.
From the outside pole, James Lehman sweeps down in turn 2 to take the lead. Greg Mull nearly up into the side of Johnny Hamby there. Mull has got his hands full. Not a good opening lap for driver number 7, started 5th. He is already outside of the top 10 just about. Heath Smith will be the one to put the nail in the coffin here out of turn 3.
Oh, Rob Haynes got up into the wall off of 3.
Rob Haynes in 3rd. Justin Michael trying to reclaim the top spot here. Zachary Groover going for 3rd now. How about this from driver 40?
Groover washes
pushes
up a little bit.
way up the track there. Rob does a nice job, so does Zachary to recover. They'll continue to battle for 3rd. Justin Michael's advance for the race lead does not go to plan. Big run here for Scott Patton on Groover now, as a bump draft from Millfelt gets Rob Haynes squared away and back into 3rd outright.
New look Scott Patton looking for a W, and the new paint here, the Paris 2024.
It would be a 2 in a row, since we don't count the All-Star race in the middle.
Wow, look at Michael really lose Groover up into the wall.
Groover hit the wall there pretty hard, and that is going to stunt your momentum all the way through turn number 1. Hamby and Widener working to get around truck number 40.
This track is difficult enough, but the first 2 or 3 laps on the fresh tires is superbly difficult.
Millfelt doing what we thought people were going to be doing at Homestead last night, trying to bump draft a little bit, work together to catch themselves up to the top 2. Greg Mull is back on the march forward here. He just got around Heath Smith around the outside in turn 2.
And he is all over. Widener here had a great run through 2. Turn 2 can really make or break your laps here.
Yes.
So difficult, especially if you get side by side with somebody. It is very difficult to make that corner consistently.
Yeah, pulling it off on the outside, always impressive, no matter the car. Widener on Groover here. That's to get 7th. Oh, contact
Whoa.
Sisler and Smith.
Now Kirk has a big run here.
Sisler, I think, clipped the apron there, trying to work underneath Heath Smith, but that sends Smith backwards several positions here. Shell Kirk hanging out in the chat with us as we continue to go side by side through the tunnel turn. I think Zachary Groover got a piece of the wall once again. He has just lost another spot.
I think Widener may have as well in front of him there.
I think this is one of the tracks where this is one of the easier places to hit the wall in terms of oval racing, and also one of the worst to do it because this is a very aero-dependent track, especially for the trucks. So avoid it at all costs, but it seems almost inevitable at times, especially later in the runs coming through turn 2. Speaking of turn 2, yeah, Justin Michael maybe was sizing up a run there, pulls back in the line.
I think he's just stalking James right now.
Well, we know the MO. 9 times out of 10, Michael will surrender positions voluntarily to save tires, make the charge late. But I don't think he surrendered this time. This is a track that Justin has shown supreme confidence at in the past.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, early on here, there's no reason to save tires. I mean, it's only a 15-lap sprint to the completion of the stage. So early on in this race for the first stage, there's really no reason to save.
10 laps until we see that stage caution. Could very well be the only caution of the night. We'll see how froggy they're feeling on the restart.
Now in the back half of this race, or the back 70% of this race, I guess I should say, that might be a different story, although Michael is looking to the inside here.
Looking a little loose, but will have the positioning he wants here into turn number 3, working the bottom. And he will go ahead. Slides up in front of his teammate, James Lehman, and will take the top spot.
On the rumble strips through turn 3 there.
Supreme confidence.
Look at this, Lehman fighting back.
Lehman not going away. Tries the bottom here in turn 1. Will drift up. Michael has the momentum from the top side. And I think he'll be able to clear. It's now Lehman in the dirty air. Oh, they both just barely scraped the wall there. Pushing hard.
Further back, Kirk and Sisler side by side yet again. They have been going at it for the last 2 or 3 laps here.
Ty Young and Heath Smith side by side behind them. That is 10th through 13th. All working each other over for position.
Sisler able to use the outside momentum there to get the big run off of turn 2.
Heath Smith with a send and will take the spot back from Ty Young.
Don't see Ty very often. I want to point out that is a great looking truck there behind Heath Smith.
Absolutely. Greg Mall pushing his frenemy down the front stretch. Meanwhile, ahead of them, that is Johnny Hamby and Scott Patton side by side into one. Patton looking to move forward. Trying to take this bottom. If it doesn't work, which it may not, he'll have to try and duck back into line and fend off Charlie Widener, who is closing in.
Tires do go away quickly here, especially down there in turn 1. It is... It eats the tires. You really got to be careful down there. Oh, Widener up into the wall off of 2. That was a pretty good slapper right there.
Patton closing again. He may have another opportunity here into 1. Oh, Flinky.
I think Greg Mall got up in the wall off of 3 there as well. He's got a lot of company behind him.
I was going to say, that is a train all of a sudden. To Sisler going for it on Groover. And Kirk trying to stick the nose in there. It was almost 3 wide. Groover's got to run on Mall now.
Now Sisler has to pull in. Now here comes Heath Smith to the inside of Sisler.
It'll be 5 laps to go once we get back to the line. James Lehman has not let Justin Michael go. There's still a couple of truck lengths separated here. We'll keep our eyes on that as all the good battling is here in the back half of the top 10. Groover and Kirk going for it. Kirk. Oh, and there's Groover into the wall. As Kirk tried to pull a little slider there.
The 3 drivers behind Groover thought he was going to hit it really hard. They all pulled down to the bottom.
Well, it's going to get Smith a spot with help from Matt Sisler.
Here comes Scott Patton again, looking to get around Hamby.
That's for a spot in the top 5. Milfeld and Rob Haynes continue to bump draft ahead of them, riding comfortably in 3rd and 4th. Patton can't quite get it done here on the bottom. I would say turn 2 is the best bet to get it done on that inside line, and it's just not materializing. These drivers are able to hold their own on the outside.
Turn 3 is not a bad spot either, but still side by side, and Hamby should have the advantage down the long straightaway.
Not much banking there. Again, it is based on the Milwaukee Mile, which I'm not sure how much banking there is, but there's not much. But there is some. So if you can work that top line and fend off your challenger, you'll have some momentum down the front stretch, and momentum is what you need. That is Greg Mall here as he's trying to pull the trigger on Will Kirk once again to fend off a challenge for 8th.
Mall getting a little bit of help here from Smith is going to edge out in front.
Patton again to the inside of Johnny Hamby. Oh, Mike Milfeld with a slip up there out of 2. So all of a sudden the bump drafting has gone away for the battle for 3rd. And it's now Haynes having to fend off the 155. Whoa! Heath Smith way down the track there. Has to make a big save.
Sisler going to look to the inside of Smith here in turn 1. As Will Kirk starting to go the wrong direction a little bit here. Just has to hang on for a couple more laps.
Justin Michaels opened things up front, almost half a second. Haynes and Milfeld still going at it here, as Hamby has gotten pretty far out ahead of Scott Patton to the point where Charlie Widener is catching the 46 now. So Hamby might be good to just ride. Pit road is closed. Lehman is caught back up to Justin Michael now, so just took a lap or 2 to ride around, I guess. Milfeld's given up on challenging for 3rd now and goes back to his bump drafting ways. Trying to make sure that they don't let Johnny Hamby into the party. Oh, but there's Rob Haynes just got into the wall out of 2, and Mike Milfeld's going to scoot on by.
So a couple of mistakes from those drivers, flip-flop positions here.
Should be the final lap of the stage as Haynes, I think, just got a piece of the wall again, trying to make a pass. But that's a big run, so it might have been Milfeld that was in the wall, and Haynes reacting.
Haynes able to slide up in front. Milfeld might try for the crossover. Don't think he'll have it here. He's going to go to the bumper.
Lehman inside at 2 truck lengths, but not gaining any ground on Justin Michael. It's Michael's stage to lose up front. Milfeld, another big run, will stay tucked in line. Through turn 3, Lehman looks low. can't make it stick. Justin Michael will win the stage here at the Tricky Triangle. Lehman second, Haynes third, Milfelt, Hamby, Patton, Widener, Mall, Smith, and Kirk the top 10.
Good stuff there to open up this one.
Well, Kirk over the radio says that he was battling so hard there with Heath Smith that a screw came out of his wheel. I can't share any more details than that, but it's a good story.
I mean, that dash kind of format for the first stage is kind of reminds me of the All-Star race a little bit, the heat race format for the All-Star race last week. I mean, that is by far the shortest stage we have had.
And the caution laps do count. This time. Yeah, that only took 15 minutes. It was almost 15 minutes on the nose.
The points matter and the caution laps don't count.
Here comes everybody. We'll see who makes it off of pit road with the lead here before we talk shop on the strategy for the rest of this one. This is a difficult pit road to hit your mark on under green. Because I always think that the commitment line is further up than it is, but it starts right where the wall is, and that does not... Oh,
Michael
boy.
goes past his
Michael
box.
slid through. Well, that probably won't keep him the lead. We'll see.
Yep,
Race
there goes
off.
Lehman.
There goes Lehman.
Oh, and I think
Milfeld
Milfeld beat him out as well.
Milfeld, Haynes, and maybe Hamby as well. So that might put Michael back to at least fourth, if not fifth. Big mistake there. Not one that he can't overcome, but certainly not ideal. Yeah, this commitment line for the drivers that'll be coming in under green, presumably anyway, it starts right where the wall starts down the front stretch. It does not give you much time to get off of turn 3, get yourself situated, and get woed down.
Yeah, it's very easy to send it too far there. And you know, at a lot of racetracks, that pit wall on the inside starts before your actual line where the pit entrance line where you have to get down to speed. Here it's basically right at the start of that wall, so that also kind of plays some tricks on you as a driver as well.
Definitely. It played a trick on me a couple of weeks ago, that's for sure.
Well,
Justin Michael taking the access road there.
What's crazy about this, Tommy, is with the caution and the caution laps that we're going to run, I mean, these drivers are basically going to have very similar stints under green here. They're going to be 16-lap stints if you cut them in half. If we stay green, you'll run 16 laps, come down pit road, and run another 16. That's the end of your race. So all of these runs, there's really not going to be much of a tire-saving strategy here. I mean, you got to save a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this track eats up tires pretty good. But you don't have to save nearly as much as you have in some of our other races this season. The drivers just ran 15 laps, and you can see them starting to struggle there the last maybe 4 laps or so. But you can go almost all out here for basically the entirety of this race.
The real question is, who's going to go all out right now and take the big send into one? And who's going to make it stick?
I think the other thing you have to maybe think about is, are you able to save enough fuel to just make it without a stop?
Oh boy,
this is a long way. That's a long way to make it. I know, but if there's any drivers that are going to try it, it's going to be in this series right here.
Where's Steve Roman when you need him? Well, I think the two drivers I'm looking for full sends from are both on the inside. We'll see how Justin Michael's feeling. But we already saw the full send from Scott Patton. He did it on the initial start, took it up the middle, 3 wide, and made it work. So, Patton, I mean, very much in the playoffs securely. 4 wins this season. He's got nothing to lose. Why not? I think the one thing that he will have to lose is probably some street cred with his teammate that's in front of him if it goes wrong. So teammates all on the inside for Bandit Motorsports. James Lehman leads the bunch. Widener pushing his teammate Johnny Hamby and Mike Milfelt. Some shuffling. Patton looking low, but double file. Oh, Michael boxed in and contact with Mike Milfelt. He saves it. Michael pushed up the track just a little bit, caught the rear quarter panel of the 155, and somehow it sent Michael around and not Mike Milfelt.
Now, unfortunately, that slows down that bottom line quite a bit. So Michael, Patton, and Smith at the disadvantage down the Long Pond straight there.
Michael only back 1 spot, but could have been back a lot more, that's for sure. McMullen slots in a line behind. Scott Patton losing positions.
Oh, man.
A couple of drivers close to, if not into the wall, and that was a big problem there with Patton and Ty Young. Wowee.
And Young might lose. He's got a good run on the outside here in turn 1.
He can keep it out of the wall here, out of 1. He'll have decent momentum down the straight. And should be able to get clear of Heath Smith into 2. Lehman leading, Milfelt, Haynes, Hamby, and Widener the top 5.
Wow, look at that send from Kirk underneath the Maul. Maul all the way down on the apron through turn 2.
That's risky business there for the 7, but keeps his spot in line. Widener thinking about a pass on Johnny Hamby, at least moves Hamby a lane up the track. And it might work for Widener. It'll definitely work here for Justin Michael, who is reeling them both in. Michael clocks the purple lap. And Michael going to go for it. Justin Michael is clear. No, he's not.
Whoa.
Was clear, didn't pull the trigger. Widener fires back.
That was awful tight. I mean, that would have been a bold move to try and slide up in front there.
And Michael, I'm sure he's glad he pulled the trigger when he did, because the choo-choo train is about to arrive at the station just behind him. Now he'll go for it on Widener once again. This time gets clear. Again, all the way down on the rumble strips. It won't be an issue this time.
And you can see the truck bouncing off the rumble strips as well, but somehow there's grip down there. That's insane.
So I believe the pit window to the end is open maybe next time. Could be now, depending on how you drive it. But like you said, just thinking about splitting this one straight down the middle.
I mean, my guess is there's going to be an undercut by maybe a number of drivers here. Could come maybe lap 33. I'm not sure you'd want to try any earlier than that.
Widener thought about taking it 3 wide, then pulled back into line, but he almost clipped Johnny Hamby, and that would have sent Hamby hurtling into Justin Michael. That would have got ugly quick.
Whoa! Lots of movement here in the back. Tons of drivers all the way down to the wall here.
I think Garrett Potts cracked the wall out of turn 3. That sent people scrambling all through the field.
That really mixed that bunch of drivers
Oh,
up.
we've got trouble. Kyle Manos has gone up and into the wall in turn 1. That is the first caution for incident here tonight. And I think that was a little bit ahead of the action that we just saw. As Manos, I believe, was running in the 14th position.
He's having trouble steering that thing too, and that was a hard hit.
That's a meatball flag. That's the one wall you don't want to hit, because usually you hit it pretty darn fast.
Oh, and Manos had a little help here.
Uh-oh.
We'll back it up to the straight.
The 40 of Zachary Groover, I believe.
Wow, there's some action between those two all the way back here. Turn 3, we'll just run at full speed. Groover, little bit of a run, kind of moves to the inside. Manos blocks it. Now Groover has a run on the outside. Manos tries to squeeze in there and block again, but then goes for the run on Slagle. Looked like Burkhart got on the back of Groover a little bit, but didn't really push him forward into Manos, it didn't look like. Looked like Manos just couldn't quite hold the bottom as Groover was expecting, and Groover carried way more speed in here.
Yeah, Groover was flat flying there.
Yeah, he may have been overshooting the corner as well. Kind of hard to tell there whether he was going to wash up the racetrack or not. But nonetheless, I mean, he gets right into the back of Kyle. We'll back it up and go inside the truck here with Zach for a moment. Yeah, I think Groover's going to end up washing up the racetrack quite a bit. I think he just got in there a little bit too much speed.
So remember how I said the pit window to the end is theoretically open? Well, it's not theoretically anymore. Everybody except for Charlie Widener and Daniel Reese are down pit road. Oh, Mike Milfelt. Looked like a tire call. Johnny Hamby as well. Sisler. Ty Young. They all beat Justin Michael off pit road. James Lehman, a lengthy stop here. Something is going on with the 50. So he came in as the leader, and he is stuck there. No penalty that I could see, but he drops all the way to the end.
And that is what to say on that one.
Hello to Joshua Motorcheck hanging out with us. Howdy to you as well. And hello to Jackson as well. That was, yeah, that's kind of what you see here in turn 1 when things get a bit strung out. I know I've tried to work the outside plenty of times. But, that was, yeah. I'm sure there's a bit of frustration in there as well for Zachary Groover, considering how well he qualified. He qualified, I think, 6th. Had fallen back through the field, hit the wall a couple of times. But, I mean, 100% not intentional. That's for sure. But trying to zip through turn 1 there, that can happen from time to time. And Groover did apologize as well, so... Back down pit road comes Scott Patton, Greg Mall, George Hendricks, Matt Burkhart, Jack Watson, Kerry Cleaver. The rest of the field will double up here, so Patton to the back. Maybe thinking, we might not be good on fuel. Going to be awfully close, which it is going to be awfully close.
I mean, we knew it would be close, but for only a few to come down pit road, I don't know. I mean, if everybody feels like they probably have it under control, I would guess.
I would say
thinking
everybody.
Maybe thinking about green-white checkered? I'm not sure. You would think a green-white checker that you'd need to take tires, though, so... Interesting calls here.
Well, I would say everybody, except for the top two, are feeling confident.
Yeah, these top two are going to get absolutely railroaded here in turn one.
Well, they might. Again, we don't have a ton of tire wear on these tires, but with everybody behind them, it's going to be tough sledding to hold them off for very long, I would imagine. Charlie Widener has been fast here tonight. There's no doubt about that. He's been running in and around the top 5 all night. That's even for Charge and Charlie. This is a tall task.
And it may not happen for a couple laps. I mean, it like I said earlier in the race, it takes a little bit for these tires to come in here. So might be able to hang on pretty well for a couple laps, but I would imagine after that, it's on the backslide most likely.
Well, let's can the sliding as somebody that's going to be a penalty for Will Kirk, and they don't clear black flags, so
that was a restart.
Yep. Well, there's 2 contenders out of this one.
Oh, Ty looks really loose there through the exit of one, but still gets a good run.
Widener leading. Milfeld in second. Daniel Reese got a bit of a helping hand there from Ty Young. Young hangs on to it. So does Reese. Yep. And here come Justin Michael and Will Kirk down pit road. Well, they'll be hoping for a caution to get themselves caught back up here. As Widener and Milfeld up front.
Haynes and Hamby side by side here. Have Young in front of them. The 3 of them have been battling. Here comes Milfeld with the run into turn 2. Charlie doing a good job hanging on in these older tires for right now.
Mike Milfeld, though, is here on the inside. Well, for some reason, Justin Michael only got a pass-through penalty. Will Kirk had a hold, a 40-second hold, so he'll be a lap down. Michael will not. And that just sucks. There's no way around that. Sometimes it just isn't right. Reese continuing to fall backwards here. He just slammed the wall there at turn 2.
Yeah, he's going to lose a couple here. That's Smith that goes by. Hamby also went by.
Started
Brad
this lap.
Slagle's up next here in the top 10. Good run for Slagle early on here.
Yeah,
I should say early on. We're over halfway. It just seems early.
Yeah, this race is almost over already, which is crazy. Milfeld trying to get clear, and he might have it, and he will. Widener held him off for a couple laps, but now Mike Milfeld leading the way. And with some of the troubles of the front runners, this lineup is all topsy-turvy right now. Kirk and Michael with penalties. Lehman with a long pit stop. Scott Patton elected to come back down for more fuel. All of a sudden, it's put the race in the hands of some of these drivers that have been in the top 5 and the back half of the top 10 most of the night up to this point.
Wow, look at that. Haynes
Wow,
goes for
Rob
a
Haynes.
slider on Ty Young. Young
What a
tried to
move.
get back underneath, but Haynes was able to hold it on the bottom. That was a great move.
Gumption gets that one done in turn 3.
The slide up in front and then able to turn back down to shut the door on the inside. That was awesome.
Slagle clipped the apron big time there into turn 1, nearly took out the 34. Now is going to lose a spot, if not 2, to Maul and Groover. Here goes Rob Haynes now inside of Matt Sisler for 3rd, and he'll take it. Sisler back down in front of Ty Young. We'll save another spot, for now at least.
Haynes
Rob
is
Haynes
on the move here.
Yeah, Haynes moving and shaking. Had that good battle with Mike Milfelt for 3rd at the end of the stage. And now it's Milfelt leading with Widener stuck in the middle.
Lehman gets around Reese. Slagle sits here in 10th. Groover trying to get that spot. Not quite having the run there through to turn 3.
Heath Smith going for a move here on Johnny Hamby.
And Haynes is right up to the bumper of Widener as well. Haynes is moving right now.
Top 3 nearly nose to tail. Widener on older tires, presumably, does not have enough fuel to make it to the end. We think Milfelt and Haynes and everybody else do. A few drivers we know at least have more fuel, so they came back down a second time under the last caution. So Haynes staying in line here, and it's allowing the group behind to catch up. Sisler, Young, Hamby, and Smith. Smith bump draft into 70.
Gotta wonder if Haynes, now that he's caught the front runners, if he's gonna look to maybe save a little bit of tire here, because we have a much longer run than we were expecting to have now. Oh, Young slides up in front of Sisler.
Well executed. Don't lose too much momentum. That went about as well as it could have for the 94. Takes the spot. He's up to 4th.
And as a driver, if you're Sisler, you want to turn back underneath and try and get that run. But on that long straightaway, if you pull out, you run the risk of really losing a good draft with that other truck. Good on Sisler to just stick with Ty Young there and make sure they don't lose any time.
Only one other start in Max V competition for the 94 of Ty Young. It came back at Sonoma, got a top 10 out of it. So Young back in place of Jacob Gibson here tonight. And doing quite well. Here we go. Pit stops. Milfelt in. Charlie Widener, not a surprise. Milfelt, more of a surprise. We may not be done yet. So all of a sudden, the tide maybe is turned in favor of those drivers that came back down under the green, or under the final lap of caution.
That is a big surprise for Milfelt, because this is when we were going to schedule the regular pit stop without the caution in the middle.
Certainly.
But Milfelt came down pit road and took 2 tires on that one, and now is going to come in for the regular pit stop. If you're going to come back in, I would have assumed he would have ran a few more laps here to give himself a shorter run to the end, but that is not the case.
Maybe wanting to pit with his teammate. They can continue to work together and bump draft down some of the longer straights here. I'm not sure, though. I'm with you. I would have probably gone a couple laps longer. So we'll see what this does as Ty Young now pitting from second. Rob Haynes is the leader. Those drivers that came back down pit road under the caution for a second time were Scott Patton, Greg Mall, George Hendricks, Matt Burkhardt, Jack Watson, Kerry Cleaver. So theoretically, those are the drivers here, potentially, that can stick it out to the end. Maybe.
Fuel number was a lot tighter than we thought it was. We thought they may be able to reach 28 laps. That is obviously not even close to the case. They're a good 3 laps at least short of that, if not more.
So Young on and off pit road. Kyle Manos also made a pit stop with Milfelt and Widener.
Smith tried to make a move on Hamby out of turn 1 and ends up paying the price. Lehman gets around him, sets it up through turn 2 and completes it in turn 3.
Hamby going for spot number 2. They've now got James Lehman back behind him. But Sisler will hold off truck number 70.
Further back, we're 2 wide. This is McRoberts looking to get around Reese in the 34. Those drivers that came back down pit road again are right here as well. That's Patton, Burkhardt, and Watts.
Here comes Johnny Hamby down pit road.
Now this should kick things off.
Hamby about got turned by James Lehman there as he was making the move. Oh,
caution's
no!
out.
Kyle Manos has gone around again. And that is very interestingly timed. That is for sure. What this should do is give Will Kirk the wave around here, if I'm not mistaken. But it's also going to mix up the strategy once again.
Milfeld's got a big decision to make here. Take 2 tires, take no tires, try and get the track position.
Well, I think he got track position by taking 2 tires under caution. He may just stay out. Guess it would also depend what he did under the green here.
Well, let's take a look at the incident first here. And looks like maybe Manos was just coming to a stop. He tried to pull all the way down to the wall, and it still brought the caution out. He pulled all the way down to the inside wall before the pit road exit line, and it still brought out the caution. So really no incident to be had there. Just tired of driving that thing with a busted wheel.
So an update on what happened to Justin Michael there on the restart. He said he went to shift into second gear and accidentally knocked the ignition switch off.
Oh, no.
So shut the car off. Of course, Will Kirk checking up, but Justin Michael is not putting any power down. So Kirk goes past Michael as soon as the green flag drops. That gives him a penalty. Michael passes him back on the inside, which is also a penalty, even though he was trying to take a spot back. They don't clear black flags under any circumstance in this league. So that is the result of that. Michael well in the back of this field, and Will Kirk now taking the lucky dog. As here come the drivers down pit road. Many dice are being rolled. Many die, I suppose.
He's not here today.
Mike Milfeld is staying out.
I thought that might be the case.
Widener as well. Ty Young, of course, just came down pit road. Johnny Hamby was on pit road when the caution came out. So those will be your top 4. Matt Sisler wins the race off of pit road. Rob Haynes will come out second.
Sisler with an abbreviated stop there.
Certainly. Well. Going to be a 9-lap dash to the checkered flag. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the bull rushing into turn 1 is going to be afoot.
Have to have a better restart than the last one to be able to make that even possible.
Well, really, 2 of the restarts that we've had here tonight have not gone particularly well. One on the outside and one on the inside. I think some folks are confused about why the caution came out because nobody seemed to see anything.
Well, I can understand why. And for the record, I mean, Manos did what he needed to do. I mean, was well off the racetrack, but it still brought the caution out.
Yeah, if he wasn't going to bring it down pit road, that is the next best thing, to just keep it way off the line. It's still popped him. Or still popped the field, I guess. That is Garrett Potts coming down pit road, and he is a lap down. I think was lucky to get the wave around. It wasn't going to happen with the drivers that stayed out, so he will come get his service. And the field will double up. Still have 25 of the 26 drivers that started this race running on track, 24 of them on the lead lap, with the addition of Will Kirk now, who is still trying to catch up to the tail end of the field after coming to get his service. Mike Milfelt, Charlie Widener, Ty Young, Johnny Amby, Matt Sisler. The top 5 combined 0 victories in Max V post-revival. What a story it would be if we could get a W from the top 5 here. Haynes in 6th, 2 times a winner this season. Heath Smith has won this season, so has James Lehman. And then it's Matt Burkhart and Brad Slagle, the top 10. They have not won either. So 70% of the top 10 here are looking for their first dub.
And there's a couple of those names that are due.
Yeah, for sure. Widener is overdue. Milfelt has clocked in a couple of good finishes, but has had a lot more good races that have not gotten the result to boot. So how fitting would it be for him to run a great race on strategy and win it to finish it off? All the credit in the world to the driver in 3rd, Ty Young. I wouldn't consider him due, but certainly if he wins it today, he will have earned it. This is only start number 2 for the 94. And this is as much of a road course as it is an oval, and that would play into Johnny Hamby's hands. He starts in 4th. Back underway. 9 laps to go. Young is fading. Sisler going to look to make it 3 wide. That's Haynes on the outside. Young up the track into the 199, and that is a disaster. More contact further back. Young up the track into Haynes. Their night's certainly over. I think that was George Hendricks that piled into the mix there in the 334.
Well,
And
that's the kind
now-
of chaos I guess we expected at the end of the race.
Well, the dash to the finish just got that much shorter.
Let's back her on up. Sisler got a great run here. Took it through wide to the bottom. I mean, there's plenty of room on this racetrack. So that's going to happen. Gonna happen on these restarts. And Sisler didn't even get close to Ty here. Ty got into his line and just drifted up here through turn 1, which is extremely easy to do.
That looked arrow loose to me with Haynes that close to the right rear quarter panel. Maybe even some netcode contact between the two, but still arrow loose is very much a thing with the 199 being that close to the right side.
And some may argue that Haynes was moving down there, but he was moving with the line down through the turn. I mean, once the 94 kind of commits to the line that he's on, the person on the outside is going to commit to being, that far away from that driver. Throughout the rest of that turn. That's just close, hard racing on a restart to really put yourself in a position to win.
That's short track racing.
The restarts are just so important. That's the kind of thing that happens when you're trying to put yourself in a position to maybe get a W here.
It was not a great restart for the 94 regardless. Started moving backwards. Sisler taking it to the bottom. Complicated things, that's for sure. But Haynes doing what he needed to do to try and crowd the 94. But just a slight wiggle up the track, and when you're not leaving that much room, that is going to happen. But like you said, that's restart racing here at Pocono.
And unfortunately for Jacob Gibson, both of these drivers have just vanished from the race in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
That feels bad.
Yeah, Young is out of the race. Rob Haynes, believe it or not, did not get a meatball flag out of that. George Hendricks did, but his is already cleared. Haynes, of course, down pit road to get damage repaired regardless. We got a pump fake from Mike Milfeld and Charlie Widener for a pit stop. They obviously didn't pull the trigger because they're still out in first and second. And that is Highline Racing 1, 2, 3, 5 right now. They have got it covered up front.
And that caution really helps them. I mean, Milfeld and Widener and Hamby are the three that are at the tire disadvantage right now, but especially Milfeld and Widener. And the less laps run under green is helping them right now. So they are in a great position.
Could be a big night for the team. Matt Sisler going to want to play spoiler. But a 5-lap dash to the checkers, if indeed this is the run to the checkers. We'll get this in under an hour if we can make it here to the checkers. Short night. Don't look now, but James Lehman's back to 6th. Justin Michaels back in 14th. Scott Patton is in 10th. But Patton hasn't shown tremendous pace here tonight. He's always a threat to win because he's Scott Patton. But Lehman has shown tremendous pace here tonight. 5 laps, not much time to get it done. But he's still at least got a sniff of the front here, and he'll go for it every time.
Well, just like that last restart, if he can pick off a couple, it's going to put him in a great position. He is going to be going to the wall to try and gain a couple positions on the restart here.
Matt Burkhardt is up further in the top 10 now. He's in 7th. Slagle and Maul in the top 10. And an interesting cast of characters here and what's been a bit of a weird race tonight at Pocono, but in the best way possible. So many characters moving in and out of the front pack here tonight. And some deserving drivers with zeros in the win column have a crack to right that wrong. They're 5 laps away from doing it. 12 miles from victory. Somebody's got to win it. Milfeld, Widener, Hamby, Sisler, back to green. Patton takes it 3 wide. Burkhardt takes it 3 wide. Oh no, Mole tagged by Slagle. And we're going to overtime. Maul with a helping hand from the 052. Slagle has damage here as well. Caution is out once more. 5th one of the night, just like that.
And again, Widener and Millfelt reaping the benefits. The tire disadvantage really doesn't even matter at this point.
From the outside, Widener had the lead at the time of the caution, so it's 95 in control now. But nobody's out of danger when you're barreling towards turn number 1 at Pocono.
Here's a look. Three wide there with Patton, Slagle, and Maul. I think Slagle thought that Maul was going to hang in there, but right behind Burkhart, but Maul wanted to pull up to the outside of Burkhart, while Slagle wanted to slot right in there behind Heath Smith as well. And they both come together.
Hit it pretty square.
He did. I want to go to the driver's seat for Slagle because I'm almost certain he probably couldn't even see
Oh, there's no way.
Maul moving up here. There's Burkhart. He's wanting to move in behind Heath Smith. He doesn't realize that Maul is coming up the racetrack, and Maul doesn't realize that Slagle's coming down to get in line.
Yeah, it's so hard to judge depth perception, even for somebody running triple monitors or running a curved monitor like that. That's a tough one to judge. So Potts, Haynes, and Maul, all drivers with damage, all down pit road here. Lucky Dog will go to, I believe, George Hendricks, who is now the only driver a lap down. This would get him back to 1 lap down. Well. A lead change. Bit of an anticlimactic one, but it was a lead change nonetheless. About half a truck length. Charlie Widener was ahead in turn 1. I think we're going to dip into overtime here by 1 lap. So we should get the double up order at the line this time. So if you thought 50 laps was too short, we're not doing 50 laps. We're doing 51, at least. Who's your money on?
It's on one of these front two, I can tell you that. Now, the thing is, they really haven't had to protect this lead because incidents have arose twice in the last 10 laps. But, I mean, Widener did an incredible job of defending on much older tires than he's on now compared to the rest of the field earlier on in this race. So he already has experience fighting off the field on a restart. I would say advantage right now is with the 95.
I'll tell you this much. Of the drivers restarting in the top 5, you have an 80% chance of a first-time winner. Lehman in 5th could spoil the party. Really, from that row, Smith could spoil it as well, just as easily from the outside. But I can't do percentages with 6. I can only do them with 5. Hey, there's the champ, Andrew Schulte, in the chat, calling a 3-wide move into turn 1, headed into overtime here. I'm counting on it, to be honest with you. I'm sure that is what Milfelt and Widener would like to see. It would neutralize Hamby and Sisler, at least in the short term. Really, there isn't a whole lot of long term here with just 2 laps left to go. Our first of a potential 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. What has been a pretty wild race here tonight at Pocono for how inauspicious it started. Teammates Widener and Milfelt on the front row, both looking for first career victory. So are the 2 drivers behind him that will be pushing into turn 1, Matt Sisler and Johnny Hamby. The vets, Lehman and Smith on row 3. Green flag. 2 laps to go. Great start here for Widener. Milfelt is under fire from Sisler, who is getting the business from James Lehman. Sisler right here to challenge. Washes up the track just a bit. Oh, Milfelt! The door closes and another one opens on the inside.
I don't think it opened. He shoved himself in there.
He kicked the door down either way. They're side by side for second. Sisler trying to crowd the 155.
Oh, there goes Milfelt.
Milfelt spinning. Caution is out. Oh, man. Mike Milfelt's good race again is all for naught. How many times have we said that this season?
And on top of that, the teammate Widener just about had that one in the bag most likely, and now it is all up for grabs again.
Boy, Widener blew the doors off the 155 on that restart. It pays to be the controlled car. Now, potentially, fuel might be an issue for, I guess, only for Charlie Widener at this point.
Yeah, we've had a lot of laps under caution. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But could be. Let's go ahead and back it up. We're just going to go ahead and back it up all the way to the restart. Why not? Great camera angle here. Here's your Geico restart zone. Widener, that big jump out. Sisler getting a hell of a push from Lehman there in the 50. Still pushing. Hamby finally gets to Milfelt right as they're entering into turn number 1. Sisler, a huge set, washes up the track. Kind of splitting lanes here. Pulls up in front of Milfelt. It gets Milfelt loose down in front of Lehman. And Sisler crowds the 155 big time through turn 2. Milfelt all the way down to the apron, then comes back up. Just a hair of contact with the 93. It spins 155 right into the wall.
Well, Mike was very gracious about it over the radio, saying it's just racing. I would imagine he's a bit heartbroken, though. Again, a couple podium finishes this season, but, I mean, this is his best true blue look at a victory all season, no doubt about it, even with some of the great runs and great qualifying efforts he's had. Still running, no meatball. I mean, that was not much of a hit, but it triggers a caution. It's going to send him all the way back to the end of this field, outside of the top 20. And what this does for Charlie Widener is moves some of the heavier hitters closer and closer. Lehman will restart in 3rd. Patton will restart in 5th. It'll be interesting to see if Widener will take the inside or if he'll try and take the outside and get some help from Johnny Hamby, his teammate. But, of course, that'll open him up for the bonsai attack into turn 1.
Yeah,
not that it's not on the table anyway.
Yeah, it's always on the table, but it's something that we saw with the incident from Groover. As Groover came from the outside and was able to take a big wide arc into turn 1 when he got into the back of Manos and carried a ton of speed. I mean, that's something that Widener may be able to do from the outside as well, and basically keep anybody from getting to him on the inside potentially, but you have to have a great restart to make that work. You can second guess yourself all day. I mean, you got to pick a decision, and you have to execute. That's the big thing. I think no matter what decision you make, whether it's inside or outside, you just have to execute your plan.
Widener is looking low. And why not? Lehman gave a great push to Matt Sisler last time. If Lehman decides to stay in line, he would do the same. But
yeah, Lehman's in the second row instead of the third now, though. I'm not sure he's going to be looking to push any longer.
Yeah, all of a sudden, these odds are starting to dwindle on a first-time winner. Still got the front row. Still got Hamby in fourth. It's Lehman, Patton, Smith still back in sixth. Attempt number 2 of 3. Widener still in control of the restart. Hoping that he's got enough fuel. Again, laps under caution do help, but we are going to end up 5 laps further than the scheduled distance. And really, it's only a question for, I believe, Widener, Sisler, and Hamby. Lehman, Patton, Smith, and everybody else should be good to the end. But we'll see. May not be an issue.
Hamby's better off than Widener here. Came in a couple laps later.
Widener leading. Sisler on his outside. Green flag. Another good jump here for the 95. Sisler not getting any help. Here is Scott Patton going 3 wide. Patton to the bottom. Lehman the meat and the sandwich. Sisler on top. Widener with a free choice of lane. Lehman pinched. Looking for a run to get out of it.
Whoa!
Wow.
Just about got into Patton there. Patton finds a hole to get all the way up to the top.
Widener not jetting away, but they continue to battle here for second.
Lehman, door to door.
Lehman,
wow. Really got turned.
Makes it work. That is not what the 95 wanted to see. The next thing Charlie wants to see is that white flag to make this one official. But Lehman is free and clear to challenge. Oh, the caution is out.
Behind.
Greg Mall goes around. Others collected. And we are going to use all 3. Charlie Widener despondent over the radio. So close. Boy, Bill Paradise, that truck has seen better days. The 556 with a meatball flag. I think it starts with Greg Mall. He was the first one I saw at least drop multiple positions.
Yeah, and Mull had some help here. Those are a couple drivers that have been down pit road many times to get damage fixed. Back it up, man. Both of them had a huge run here. This is Haynes and Mull, the 199 and the 7 respectively. Look at this run up through turn 2. Right up the inside of McRoberts. Haynes gives Mull a little shove on entry into 3. And then gets back to him. Mull has to check up a little bit behind Voiles, and Haynes gets right to the back of him.
some impatience there for sure. But Rob's had a frustrating race. I can't say that I blame him.
Well, one thing Charlie's got going for him here is this is the final attempt, and he's had good restarts. So if he gets out front and something happens, he's going to win the race.
Lehman will restart at second. Sisler and Patton down on row 2. Hamby and Smith still in that third row. Yeah, this is it no matter what. But even if the caution comes out right away, Widener's still got to make 2 more laps under the caution, or at least cross the line in the lead under his own pace to claim this victory.
And ignition is on and off here for Widener.
I believe it.
Or the clutch is being pushed in, one of the two.
This would be a terrible way to go. Never mind having to fend off James Lehman heads up here for the last 2 laps. You got to make sure you have the fuel to do it. And of course, he's not coming down pit road. Even Lehman using the flat here through turn 2, so it's not out of the question that some of these other guys are about out.
Well, I mean, Widener is
way
5 laps
yes.
behind them
way short
on fuel strategy. So if Widener's still out here, you would think the others would be too, although you are right, Lehman has the clutch pushed all the way in as well.
Dare I say, Joseph Logano, Nashville Super Speedway,
Oh, jeez.
had much less fuel than the drivers around him and had even enough for a victory lap and burnout, whereas some of the other drivers that pit after him ran out in the last lap. So how good is Charging Charlie transitioning into Clutching Charlie here?
There's Scott Patton pushing clutch all the way in. Johnny Hamby does not seem to be. He's on a couple laps disadvantage to most of the field. Not quite as many as Charlie is. But he's not pushing that clutch in at all. He seems to think he's just fine. This could get interesting. In fact, I'm sure it will.
I'm going to say it's interesting already. I don't know if we've ever had in here on a Thursday night all 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. I do want to point out the caution can come out and the race will be over at that moment, assuming that everybody is able to make it back around under their own power. So this caution coming out again will end this race. It's all stacking up against the 95. There is no doubt about it. Charlie Widener, who looked to be in a great spot for at least a first or a second in a team top 5 sweep, all of a sudden is going to have to earn it. Lehman hungry for his second victory. Sisler wanting to get to victory lane. Scott Patton looking for a 5th and a 2nd in a row. And Hamby and Smith both eyeing trophies as well. The final 5 miles here at Pocono. Widener fires. Lehman backing up, looking for bump drafting help from his teammate Scott Patton. Widener goes up the track. It might open the door for Lehman to look down low. He doesn't. He'll stick to the top side. Patton sticking a nose in. Lehman around the outside. They're wrecking, the caution's out, and Charlie Widener's ahead. Widener has the nose out ahead at the time of the caution. And again, he needs to make it around under pacing here. I think Patton is going to snatch the podium away from Matt Sisler.
Wow, what a wild end to this one. And it's
Everybody
not over.
full ended. No, it is not. Everybody congratulating Charlie here, but we still got to make it to the checkers. Unless they throw the checker now.
It's the yellow. I don't think it's... I think that's
Yeah,
the white. He's got to make one more.
Yeah, we got people like pulling into the pits. We got to stay out, pick up the pace truck for one more lap.
Who was it that gave up a win that way?
Mark Martin at Bristol.
I thought it was Mark.
Where is the pace truck? Is it even out?
I don't think so. I don't see it.
Well,
Charlie's trying to get this over and carry as much momentum as possible here.
he's got 4 seconds back to Lehman, so. Yeah,
there's a pace truck. Pace truck is in turn 3.
Okay. So Widener will pick up the pace truck here. He is slowing down.
I think he's just slowing down to stay behind the truck here.
Yeah, he could coast it from this point. It's finally time to coronate Charlie Widener as a winner in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Charging Charlie gets it done at Pocono. He's got enough gas. He's fine. Still one of my favorite moments here on this channel and all the racing that we've done, well over 200 races at this point, is Charlie Widener going toe-to-toe on old tires at Iowa with the juggernaut of 2023, Ashton Crowder, and nearly taking him to the house.
That was a special one.
But this time, he brings it home. The more and more this race drug on, the more the odds got stacked up against the 95. But Charlie Widener holds firm and will bring it back around turn 3 to burn it down here in Pocono as a winner with Max V. Dueling burnouts here. Milfeld almost got to share the podium with him, or even battle for a win of his own. But we'll bring it home in 14th. And before we do our interviews here, we need to go back and take a look not only at the incident that brought out the caution, but also how close it was when that caution flag came out. The official margin of victory tonight is going to be 2.68 seconds. But it was a lot closer than that when the caution came out. Lehman was flying on the outside.
I know Cleaver got... Let's see what happens here. Oh, Cleaver washes up the racetrack in front of Milfeld. And nowhere for Milfeld to go. Cleaver gets sent hard into that outside wall. Maul comes crashing in as well. 97 at Garrett Potts, hard into the wall, and that is what brings out that caution. Now, it's very difficult for me to know when the caution actually comes out here. That's just not something that I have available to me, unfortunately. But we can do our best detective work. Because Lehman is out in front of Widener through the middle of turn 1.
And I think they are right on exit as that caution comes out. So Widener's drive off of the turn here is what wins him this race.
And I think it comes out right about here. Actually, there's a light there that's still green. And Weiner's out in front this whole time. That light was green when it went off camera. So just by a quarter of a truck length here for the 95.
Widener with a very special first career victory with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, and well-deserved, long overdue. Congrats to him. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to James Lehman. We'll talk to Scott Patton, your podium finishers here momentarily. Fourth place tonight, and a disappointing one, if there ever was one, for Matt Sisler. He wanted that first career podium. Gets it taken away right at the caution lights. Johnny Hamby will bring home a top 5 here tonight. Heath Smith makes up, actually he won't make up any ground on Justin Michael, because Michael wins the stage. Justin Michael, a non-factor after his penalty, but still rallies for a 7th place finish here tonight at a track that he knows he had a great shot to win at. So he'll be disappointed with that. Matt Burkhart +7 tonight. He'll finish in 8th. Will Kirk, great recovery from being a lap down after the penalty from Justin Michael there. He will finish in 9th. Chris Surgeon, a top 10. Well done for him. Brad Slagle will slip back to 11th. Zachary Groover in 12th. Chris Voiles will go +12 tonight to finish in 13th. Mike Milfelt in 14th. Daniel Reese in 15th. Ryan McRoberts, Jack Watts, Michael Van, George Hendricks, and Garrett Potts your top 20. Kerry Cleaver will finish in 21st. One down in 22nd is Rob Haynes. 2 down in 23rd is Greg Mall. 2 down in 24th, Bill Paradise. At DNFs tonight from Ty Young and Kyle Manos in 25th and 26th. We will talk to your podium finishers, and first up on the interview train will be the 46 of Scott Patton. Welcome back to the booth. Nice follow-up to the win a couple weeks ago at IRP with a 3rd place here tonight.
Yeah, I had to kind of scrap for that one, but yeah, feels good to be on the podium nonetheless.
I mean, you were close to the top 5 running around there most of the night. You made a very aggressive move on the first lap to take it 3 wide and prove that you were looking to march forward in this one. I'm not sure from what we saw that you quite had podium pace here tonight, but things falling your way. And somebody like you is given the opportunity to finish on the podium 9 times out of 10, you're going to seize it.
Yeah, we like to think that that's one of our strengths is if we can't beat them straight up on speed, we'll find some other way. And that's kind of how today panned out with strategy. I think I was probably, even from practice, 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that. In qualifying, I think P8. So I don't know what Justin had going on up there, but I had nothing for him. So we just had to kind of go to our playbook and see what we could do. We played the fuel race there in that long run. I think we were the first truck that could make it. If that was going to cruise to the end, I think we were sitting pretty good back there. Nice and quiet there with fuel to the end. But then the caution comes, then we kind of scrap our way to the front there. And good thing the caution, even you probably guys don't realize, but the fuel was an issue at the end there. I left my auto fuel on, which it only fueled me to the end plus 1 or 2 laps, which doesn't take into account 16 green, white, checkered finishes. So I wasn't actually going to make it there on green. If that went green, the last green, white, checker, we were going to be out of fuel at least on the last lap, if not before that. So we stayed out with the intention of, hey, if a yellow falls, that'll chop the race, and we can just kind of cruise to the finish. So that was basically our best case possible scenario of the entire night. So I'll take it.
I have victimized myself multiple times with the auto fuel, and it is a travesty every time. So I would have felt that very hard for you. But Matt, what do you got here for Scott?
Yeah, congrats on a great finish here. It was a topsy-turvy night for you for sure. Always playing the fuel strategy. That would have been quite impressive. I know we were a little bit surprised. We didn't realize the fuel was that close to see you come down the second time. You and a few other drivers did. But you got a new paint here today, another patented paint gracing the screens of Turn 200. Did you feel a little special here with the Olympic paint scheme? Felt good tonight?
I couldn't decide. I figured it was either going to be a win and we'd keep it and we'd feel good about it, or we're just going to trash it and go next week with back to the square one. I don't know. So being P3, I guess I'll maybe leave it up for next week. But yeah, we just had some spare time today and just threw that together just for the heck of it for the Olympics. And so yeah, I think it turned out all right. So I think we'll probably leave it on for next week too.
Well, there you go. Good stuff here. And you're telling me that Justin Michael doesn't share his secrets with you about how to get around Pocono? That's just mean.
Nope. I've tried to pay him and barbecue spices and everything else you can think of, and no. Even teammates don't get the inside info.
Maybe you'll win him over one of these times. But regardless, congrats on the podium here tonight. Shout-outs for you.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on this week, but special shout out for you guys, Turn 200. Appreciate you adapting to our schedule and ultimately iRacing schedule with the computer glitch a couple weeks ago and us doing this makeup race. So appreciate you guys sticking around and having the patience to do this with us. Ended up being a little bit longer a night than it probably should have been, but you guys put on an awesome, awesome broadcast nonetheless. So looking forward to watching that. And I think that's about all I've got aside from the Bandit Motorsports teammates I got behind me here too.
Alrighty, we'll see a short track racing next week in Richmond, but go celebrate the P3.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And the driver that won last time at Richmond is back in booth 200 here with a second place finish tonight. That is James Lehman, right where you started, but took an interesting route to get there. Regardless, congrats on the runner-up.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, first of all, you ran well in that stage. You took Justin Michael to the limit here at Pocono, which is not something a lot of people could say that they've done, I'm sure. But then the pit stop comes, and what happened? Because you were the last driver off pit road.
I just don't text and drive because you speed. So it's whatever.
No.
Your foot becomes a little bit more heavier, and I was like, well, that's bad. That was great.
No lessons learned from the Venom Truck Series events past. But regardless of that, obviously you have tremendous pace here. You pick your way back up through this field on the short green flag run that we had after the stage. Strategy all across the board there. We heard from Scott Patton that he was going to run out of fuel if that went green. How was your fuel looking to the end?
I was gonna have like 0.2.
Oh boy,
it was tight. I was just like, yeah, it was tight. That's for sure. I think if we went green there, Scott he probably would have ran out going into turn 3 or coming out of it for sure. That's how close he was.
So I kind of joked about Charlie Widener pulling a Joey Logano, but he really did it. So that's very interesting.
And props to him, man. He's been trying for so long. I remember last season when it was Iowa. That was. I'm glad that I'm finally glad that he finally got himself his first win in the league. So, well deserved.
Matt, what do you got for the boss man?
Yeah, congrats on a great run here. You kind of had to fight your way from the back up to the front again through all the chaos, all the restarts and all that. You did a great job picking off cars there, but coming to that final restart, I mean, are you thinking long-term trying to set up the pass, or are you just trying to get down into turn 1 and take the lead because you're pretty sure a caution might come out? What's your strategy there?
Yeah, on that last restart, I was just when he gave up the outside, I was like, you messed up. I was like, I'm gonna get you here, and then I went in a little too hard, and it pushed, and then I had to wait to get on the gas, and he got on the gas about the same time I did, and I was just like, all right, cool, it's gonna be interesting going to turn 2, and bam, caution. I was like, great. I was just like, this sucked, but it's part of the racing, so. I definitely was going to give him a bumper if I was going to be behind him. That's for sure. Got to make it interesting a little bit.
Well, we expected nothing less. Andrew Schulte was in the chat saying that you were. I think when you restarted on row 3 for the last regulation restart, said you were going to send it 3 wide in that one, and ended up being a pretty handy pusher instead for those first couple of overtimes. But the opportunity was right there to take that outside, and you were flying there in turn 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think it was the second green white checkered restart where I pushed Matt all the way to second. Yeah, I was like, hey man, you like that? He's like, yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, hey, I'm a good pusher. I'm a good pusher, so.
Well, great job here tonight. We're headed back to a track that you won at earlier this season next week, so that's good momentum to carry back into Richmond. But P2 here tonight, awesome job. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Thank you to everybody that showed up. I'm sorry to everybody that was trying to make this race. I literally had like another 10 messages. People wanted to join last second, but I'm sorry, we just don't do that last minute stuff. But you guys were more than welcome to show up next week. Thank you guys. You guys do a fantastic job week in, week out, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Richmond. It's me and Greg are probably going to put on a show. That's for sure.
Looking forward to that. Go celebrate the P2, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you guys. You take care.
And now it is time. Charlie Widener is in the booth 200 once again, but for the first time as a race winner. Long overdue. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, how about that, guys?
How about that indeed? You're hanging around the top 5 and the top 10 there throughout the opening stage, playing a little pit strategy, and it definitely went your way here tonight. And then, I mean, once you got out front, you had an incredible pace and were able to defend like a madman. So things really just kind of went your way here tonight.
Yeah, pit strategy. We pitted before the first stage happened, and then when stage 1 came out, I just stayed out. I had like, I don't know, around 5 laps on the tires, and the only person that got around me during the next green flag run was Mike. So, and then we kind of short pitted. That strategy worked out pretty good. So there at the end, we short pitted again. Me and Mike, we had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 lap older tires than everyone behind us, and the clean air helped keep us up there. Man, okay, we need to lower these green white checkers a little bit, because each one I got a little more and more upset about what was going on.
I was going to say, normally the first person to come over the radio during a crash is somebody that's in it, somebody that's hot about being in the crash. You were the first person after the second caution came out there in overtime to pipe up, and I can understand it. You were probably about 1,000 feet away from crossing the start-finish line to take the white flag. We kind of made a joke about we knew the fuel situation had to be tight. I said maybe you were going to pull a Joey Logano from Nashville Super Speedway. And that seems like that's actually what happened. You had 5 laps less fuel, theoretically, than the drivers behind you, but they barely made it back around to the checkers. How much did you have in the tank there when you were starting to do burnouts?
Oh, I think I still had like 6 or 7 laps left. So those guys probably forgot to check off their auto fuel.
Yeah.
I went in there, set mine to make sure I had 6 laps extra.
Wow.
So it filled it all the way up, and I was good to go. And I knew it would slow me down a little on the pit stop, but where me and Mike short pitted, we come out, we drafted with each other on the straightaways. We made up whatever time we lost in pits by making sure we filled up. So, hey, you got to be off sequence. I wasn't winning any other way in this league, so I tried something different.
Well, I was going to say you either turned your auto fuel off or Smokey Eunuch prepared that truck here tonight. So I'm glad it was the first option. Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, you tried something different, and it absolutely worked. Congratulations on the big win. I know, coming to that last restart, you've had basically 4 cautions come out in a row. Are you just diving down into turn 1 and making sure you're out front before that caution comes out? Or, I mean, how do you play that last restart there, knowing that is going to be the last one?
Well, you hope you get the jump on the restart, right? It's that way you can at least clear them going into the turn. But the faster guys kept getting closer and closer with every friggin' a green white checker that came out, and so I knew. Once Lehman was up there with me, once he had a good push, I'm not sure there was any. Like, I probably should have blocked the top a little better, but there was really, he would have just dove low and kind of slide jobbed me, I think. So I got lucky that I went a little deep, and I think he was kind of going it off of me, and he went a little too deep, and I got lucky that he had to let off up there, and I was able to get my nose out in front of him for that caution. We would have been side by side going down in the turn 2, and I wasn't going to lift. I didn't really care what happened to him, honestly. At that point, he's had enough wins, And I know you guys remember Iowa.
Oh yeah.
So this stuff I was tired of that stuff happening, so I was going to try to make sure that I come out with the checker flag no matter what.
Well, you did. It absolutely happened here tonight. long overdue, well deserved, very popular win here tonight. It's popular with the booth. I don't care about anybody else. So, uh, great job here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out, say hi to, say thanks to? It's all yours.
I want to start off with you guys. I think you guys are the best at what you do. I always enjoy going back and rewatch the races, even the ones that I do bad in. You guys make it tolerable. So Lehman and everyone who puts this league on, and also for Overdrive Turn 1, CNC Home Designs for sponsoring the league, and I got the best teammates there are out there. Michael Milfelt, Heath Smith, Johnny Hamby, biggest cheerleaders. Me and Mike wishing each other luck, starting on the front row with all these green white checkers and stuff, and just all the guys. All those guys are great.
And you are the greatest of them here tonight at Pocono. Go celebrate, go party hard. We'll talk to you again, hopefully next week at Richmond.
Sounds good.
That is Charlie Widener. He's the man here tonight. Plus 11, plays the pit strategy beautifully, and out. I guess you could call it a checkmate on the fuel strategy here tonight. Talks about how fast Lehman and Patton and others are, and they certainly are. But he had him covered tonight.
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, it's one thing to play the fuel strategy and, put yourself in a better position. Honestly, got to give a little apology to Widener. When he first started on older tires that first time, I thought for sure he was going to go backwards by the end of that run, and he just didn't. He was just so good up front there, and after seeing that, and he was out front again for these final restarts, in my mind, unless he ran out of fuel, I thought for sure he was going to have it, and lo and behold, he pulled it out. So, it was a huge night here for the 95. Congratulations again. It was a fun one to watch there at the end. And thank you to everybody that was tuning in here with us tonight as well. George Hendricks hopped in here. Thank you for that little tidbit, by the way. Didn't even think about that. Andrew Schulte, Jacob Gibson, Michelle Kirk, Jackson Burgess, Josh Modacek was here. So was Flinky Roberts. And Greg Ball was here a little bit earlier as well. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us here tonight. And anybody else that was watching, we appreciate it. I will not be here on Thursday next week, unfortunately. Going to be just Tommy and maybe a special guest if he so chooses. Some dummy decided to buy a house in a different state and has to move, so they will not be present next Thursday.
Well, you'll get to watch Richmond, maybe from your new home, maybe not, maybe just from the road somewhere, maybe pulled over at a Buc-ee's or something. Who's to say? But yes, indeed, we'll be at Richmond next week. That's 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday evening, but we got a lot between now and then. Sunday afternoon, the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast will be live from Motorsports Arena Oschersleben, which is a very small, tight, constricted track for the Mission R's, the all-electric Porsche. And will be very interesting to see how that goes on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Monday, we are back with the Go Squadra Formula Super Series. That will be from Spa-Francorchamps for the Super Formula car. That'll be very interesting to see. Join us Monday night for that. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series will be live from Auto Club for the endurance race. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night for the Venom Truck Series. Wednesday night, the Daredevil Series will roll into 2008 Phoenix International Raceway. So Legacy Phoenix on Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for that. That will lead us into next week from Richmond for the Max V CNC Home Design Truck Series. We hope you'll join us there. Again, next Thursday night, same time, same place. Thank you to everybody that's hit subscribe. We are past the curse number of 666s on the sub count. Appreciate everybody that has contributed to that in the past and will contribute that in the future. Thank you to everybody with the Max V admin team. Thank you to James Lehman. Thank you to Kerry Cleaver with CNC Home Designs. If you're looking to have a home built in Central Florida, whether it is just a rustic farmhouse or the modern dream home for you, they can hook you up with that. Give Kerry Cleaver a call with CNC Home Designs. Thank you for their continued support of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series for 2024. That is all we got for you here tonight on behalf of the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Until we meet again, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to Charlie Widener. Pocono was worth the wait for driver number 95. He takes the hard charger and the victory here tonight.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.